We have an exciting and inspiring program for you all this evening. Each of these three outstanding Italian-American families demonstrate courage, strength, and humility, and we're eager to share their stories with you. First, I'd like to thank all those who enable the Italian Language Foundation to function in such an effective and productive way all year long. Thank you to Louis Tallerini, the chairman of the Italian Language Foundation and the person who worked with me to establish the Italian Language Foundation as a 501c3 not-for-profit organization in 2008. Thank you to the board members of the Italian Language Foundation for your commitment to our mission. Special thanks to the Columbus Citizens Foundation, and in particular to Angela Vivolo, Marion Pardo, Lisa Ackerman, and Jefferson Wilson for their continued enthusiastic support. And we are so very grateful to the Giambelli Foundation for their support of our mission through the years. Very special thank you to Magali Rivera, whose creativity, wisdom, and strong work ethic enhanced the Italian Language Foundation in many ways. Grazie mille, Mag. Get emotional. Thank you to Ed Guillen for his technical expertise in producing our very first virtual fundraiser, and to Joseph O'Fallon for his expertise in conducting the interviews with me. And now it is my special honor to introduce Lydia Maticchio Bastianich, a world-class chef, restaurateur, and entrepreneur. Many of you have seen Lydia on PBS or have visited Italy at one of its many locations nationwide, or one of her fine restaurants across the country. Or maybe you use one of her excellent cookbooks. Lydia is a woman who has created a highly successful and high-profile family business. She's proud of her Italian heritage, and her contributions to the Italian-American community are vast. I encourage you all to read Lydia's autobiography, My American Dream, which is an inspiring story of the struggle and the triumph of the immigrant experience. And now, here is Lydia in her own words.
Buonasera a tutti. I'm delighted to join you this evening to honor three outstanding Italian-American families in generational businesses: the Catalanotto family, the Scaglione family, and the Di Palo family. As an immigrant to the United States, I understand the challenges faced by many Italians throughout the years who were seeking a better life in the United States. We struggled and persevered and have made our contributions to this great country. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented us all with unprecedented challenges. Those of us in the culinary and restaurant industry have suffered greatly. My daughter Tanya and my son Joseph and I have worked together for many years. Hopefully, my grandchildren would continue to build upon the business enterprise that I have nurtured and cherished for many years. Of course, we celebrate our Italian culture through wonderful Italian cuisine and through the experience of all that Italy has to offer in art, architecture, music, literature, fashion, design, and much more. As you know, I am proud of my Italian heritage, and my children and grandchildren speak Italian as well as other languages. Language is the key to understanding and appreciating all cultures. We are here in support of the Italian Language Foundation, which promotes Italian language education nationally with free programs for students and teachers of Italian. The Italian Language Foundation seeks to expand Italian language education for all races and ethnicities across the country. And so I offer my congratulations to the Italian Language Foundation, which has continued to support Italian language education since its establishment in 2008. Margaret, congratulazioni! È un'organizzazione stupenda che continua a promuovere la lingua italiana, la bella lingua italiana. Thank you, Margaret, and thank you to all.
And thank you, Lydia, for your heartfelt words. You are a role model for me and for many others. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first honoree of this evening, Mr. Alfred Catalinotto and his family. Alfred is a dedicated member of the board of the Italian Language Foundation. Alfred and his brother Dom and his son Joe run Central Market, New York in Grand Central Terminal and Whitehall Terminal at the Staten Island Ferry, and also Frankie's Dogs on the Go in Grand Central Terminal. Central Market, New York has been a vibrant presence in Grand Central Terminal since the 1970s. The Catalinotto family prepares each dish with great care and attention and is well worth a visit to the awesome landmark, which is Grand Central, just to have a delicious meal at Central Market, New York, or a designer hot dog at Frankie's Dogs on the Go. The Catalinotto family has generously donated several gift certificates to Central Market and Frankie's. And if you're one of the lucky winners tonight, you'll be notified by email tomorrow. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Alfred Catalinotto.
So my brother Dominic and I and our family are second generation Americans. Our grandparents all came here in 1913 from mainland Italy and Sicily. My father served in the United States Air Force during the Korean conflict, and he was stationed at MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. And after he was released from the military service, he went to school on the GI Bill and had a degree in accounting. And he served as an accountant for the majority of his life. And then in 1977, he decided that he wanted to get into his own food industry because that's where his true passion was. And that's how it all started. In 1975, my father, who had an accounting background, started at that time, what we would call a delicatessen in Grand Central Terminal, which had a tremendous amount of Italian food influence. And my brother and I joined him around 1977. And we totally took over the business by 1999 when my father became very ill. Going back to 2001 on 9/11, when we were attacked, we had thought, we had seen the worst and we would be able to work through anything that came our way, especially being New Yorkers. However, nothing really hit us quite as hard as the pandemic did in February of 2020, well, March of 2020. In 2011, my son Joe, after graduating college, joined our organization as well. And he took an immediate love for the food industry and wanted to continue learning and going to chef school. So Culinary Institute, which we sent him to, and he took an immediate love for cooking. So being in business with your family, your brother and your children certainly has its challenges. One of the ways that Dominic and I have been able to work out our work situation is that Dom has specific roles with what he takes care of, and I have my roles that I take care of, and Joe has his roles that he handles. So we try not to step on anybody's toes, and obviously we're always in communication with each other, which is really key. Like anything else, it's like key to a marriage. You have to have communication, and it's the only way to actually get through it in to make sure that everybody has their own designated job and you stay in your lane. Just don't get out of your lane. In 2001, ironically, I served as the Columbus Day Parade chairman for my first parade, and I did that for 16 years after. I truly enjoyed being the Columbus Day Parade chairman in New York City. For Grand Marshals, I had the honor to work with people like Zeffirelli, Justice Scalia, General Pace, Admiral Giambastiani. I mean, oh boy, I'd have to list them all. It's quite a few, 16 Grand Marshals. Lydia Bastianich, and I got the opportunity to put Stephanie Germanotta on the red carpet to perform one of her songs before she was Lady Gaga. So I was the first person to put her on the camera on a TV broadcast before she was what she is today. After 16 years of being the parade chairman and being highly involved with the Italian American community, and working with Louis Tallerini, who introduced me to the Italian Language Foundation, and Dr. Cuomo, I was honored to be asked to be on the board of the Italian Language Foundation, especially that as growing up as a child, Italian language was not offered to me in my high school in Long Island, and I thought that would be a gimme. And but I would have to say that the most accomplished thing that I have in my life is raising my 4 children for them to be what they are today and hopefully what they have in the future. And I certainly didn't do it alone. A lot of it was my wife. I got to give her the credit. I mean, she's a tremendous parent. She's a great mother. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done it without her. My family and I are so very pleased to be honored by the Italian Language Foundation, which supports Italian language education nationally. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred. Your words are truly inspiring. And I have to say, as a woman and a wife, I love what you said about your wife. The challenges of the pandemic are a theme that you will hear tonight from each of our 3 honorees. And we applaud our honorees for overcoming these unprecedented challenges and moving forward with determination. Now, as you know, the mission of the Italian Language Foundation is to support students and teachers of Italian nationwide. Now, in their own words, you will hear from one of our outstanding high school students of Italian in California, and from a professor of Italian at the Walton School of Business at the University of Arkansas. Margherita Scusat is an exemplary high school student in California who earned a perfect score on the AP Italian exam and received the Award for Excellence from the Italian Language Foundation. And Professor Ryan Calabretta Sager is a longtime colleague and a collaborator with the Italian Language Foundation. He is the president of the American Association of Teachers of Italian, AATI, and together we partner on initiatives to enhance Italian language education for students and teachers of Italian. Ryan is one of the recipients of the Italian Language Foundation's Teacher Recognition Award for 2021. And so it is my pleasure to introduce Margherita Scusat and Professor Ryan Calabretta Sager.
Ciao, I'm Margherita Scusat. The Italian Language Foundation supports students and teachers of Italian across the United States. For students, it offers awards for excellence nationwide and also internships with Italian companies based in the US. In addition, it offers free webinars for students in the Commitment to Excellence program. For teachers, the Italian Language Foundation offers free professional development webinars and teacher recognition awards for outstanding teachers of Italian at the college and high school levels. I'm a proud recipient of the Award for Excellence. Your donation will help support students and teachers of Italian from coast to coast. Thank you for supporting the Italian Language Foundation. Grazie mille.
Buonasera a tutti. My name is Ryan Calabretta Sager, and I'm an assistant professor of Italian and section head of the Italian program here at the University of Arkansas Fayetteville. Currently, I also serve as the president of the American Association of Teachers of Italian, president of Gamma Kappa Alpha, the Collegiate Italian National Honor Society. I am the higher ed co-chair of the AP Development Committee, and also the founding editor of Diasporic Italy, Journal of the Italian American Studies Association. It is a great honor this evening to formally accept the Innovation in Teaching Award by the Italian Language Foundation. I originally became involved with the Italian Language Foundation through the enthusiastic labor of Dr. Margaret Cuomo and her passion for the promotion of the AP Italian Language and Culture examination. Although we met many years ago with my involvement in Concordia Language Villages while I was only a master's student, our paths recently crossed with collaborations through the Italian Embassy in Washington, D.C. Although always strong, the Italian Language Foundation has continued to blossom and touch numerous new areas for the promotion and growth of Italian from K to the university level, including most recently, and for me, very excitingly, internships and the rich blog that it also publishes. The Italian Language Foundation's dedication to the continued success and growth of Italian is critical for our future. Before concluding, I would like to extend my warm wishes to the honorees of tonight's event, the Scaglione family, the Catalanotto family, and the Di Paolo family, for their support of the foundation. These three families, as well as their companies, make so much of what the foundation do, not only possible, but also fruitful. Much appreciation is extended to them and to all those who collaborate with the foundation. Every little bit of time, energy, and financial contribution make what I do and what we do collectively a reality. Thanks again, and alla prossima. Buona serata.
Well, Margarita and Ryan are certainly impressive, aren't they? Well, please prepare yourself to be impressed again. Many of you may be familiar with DiPaolo Fine Foods, located at 200 Grand Street in Little Italy, New York City. Mr. Louis DiPaolo and his sister Marie, brother Sal, and wife Connie have worked together for many years at that market that offers authentic Italian cheeses, cured meats, imported olive oil, vinegars, pasta, and much more. I encourage you all to take the time to visit DiPaolo Market in person. And while you are there, you will also want to visit the Enoteca, which is DiPaolo's wine shop, and the DiPaolo Wine Bar, where you can enjoy Italian wines and also cheeses, cured meats, and much more. It's a very special experience. Louis DiPaolo also leads food culture tours to Italy, and that experience is unique. You will also want to read DiPaolo's Guide to the Essential Foods of Italy, written by Louis DiPaolo. Now, Mr. DiPaolo has generously donated 5 copies of this book, autographed, and gift certificates to the DiPaolo Market. This book is such a marvelous, comprehensive review of the imported Italian foods we've come to love in this country: cheese, olive oil, vinegars, and also produce and animal products, pork, beef, et cetera, how they're grown in Italy, who grows them, how they reach us in our country. And he also shares insights, personal stories of his own family. It's a wonderful book. I encourage you to get it, even if you don't win it. And hopefully we'll all be able to join Mr. DiPaolo in Italy on one of his very special tours this year. Speriamo. Now here is Louis DiPaolo in his own words.
Great-grandfather, Savino DiPaolo, when he emigrated here, he had knowledge since being a farmer. He had a few cows. He was there, he would milk his cows. And what do you do with the milk? If you're not going to drink it all, you're going to make cheese. So he had the knowledge of cheese making. He brought that talent here and opened up a small latteria, a dairy, here on Mott Street back in 1910. And it wasn't until 1914, on the onset of World War I, he was able to call the rest of his family. They came over, and they all worked together. They worked together as a family, and that's what they supported. What did he do? He made his fresh mozzarella, his ricotta, sold milk out of a big milk can. He ladled it out, and people came in with their own jug or pitcher, and he would ladle it and sell it maybe 3 cents a ladle or whatever. And that's the way he made a living. But what happened was the strength was the family. The family all worked together. And my great-grandfather, Savino, was smart enough to realize as his children got older, they needed to move on and open up their own place, because his place was only about 400 square feet. And it couldn't support multiple families. I can honestly say that the greatest reward that we've received in our business has not been monetary. The greatest reward is that fact that I was able to work with my family my entire life. Today, now we're into our 5th generation. The 5th generation now needs to do, every generation put another contribution into our business. For instance, my great-grandfather was simple dairy, just made his ricotta and his mozzarella. My grandparents, they started to include some cheeses such as provolone and pecorino romano, caciocavallo, typical southern Italian cheeses. My father and my uncle, they included things such as some grocery items, some pasta, and perhaps some of the cured salamis and cured meats. When my sister and my brother, we continued the business, we decided that we were going into a little bit more of a specialty end of it. Not only never losing sight of our core business, which is the dairy, making the cheese by hand, never losing sight of that. But now, making frequent trips to Italy, starting to sell unique legumes, lentils from certain areas of Umbria, and very special vinegars and things like that. So now when the fifth generation came around, our children studying in Italy, we afforded them the opportunity. We put an adjacent shop next to our market, because our market went from a latteria to a latteria salameria to a latteria salameria gastronomia. Now we have next to it an enoteca, a depository of wines and spirits, of which we gave the name C. Di Paolo, after my grandmother, Concetta Di Paolo. In fact, we put on the wine bar her sign that's probably about 80 or 90 years old. We had this old porcelain sign. We said we're going to give her the respect of opening this place. And we made a beautiful venue. It's a great place to come relax. In fact, I'm in it right now and giving this interview. So I'm not really a travel agent. I'm what you would call the special guest. I travel with you. I select the places we're going to go to. It's the tour that is strictly a food culture tour. The Italian Language Foundation has much to be commended for the fact that promoting the language brings to the American consumer especially the beauty of the Italian language. For me, it's a language that sings. It's listening to children speak the language. It's almost like opera. And you get such a thrill and a joy when you hear this beautiful language. This is what I wanted to do in my life. This is what I'm happy with, and this is what I'm proud of. That's my greatest achievement, that I could stand behind the counter, cut a pound of cheese for you, or a quarter of a pound, or 10 pounds, and be very happy to give you the full attention and explain to you. This is what I am, who I am. And I think that's my greatest achievement.
Thank you, Mr. DiPaolo. Louis DiPaolo is a natural and compelling storyteller, and his story is really moving. Again, that he has struggled in his business through the pandemic and has overcome the challenges as the Catalanotto family has done. And soon you will hear something similar from the Scaglione family. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Rachel Mack, an outstanding student of Italian, and Gina Gallo, an outstanding teacher of Italian. Rachel Mack is a freshman at Johns Hopkins University, and she earned an award for excellence from the Italian Language Foundation while she was attending high school in New Jersey. Gina Gallo received a Teacher Recognition Award from the Italian Language Foundation in 2020. Gina teaches Italian in a high school in Bristol, Connecticut. So here are Rachel and Gina to share a few thoughts with you.
Ciao, my name is Rachel Mack. Like hundreds of other students of AP Italian nationally, I am a recipient of the Italian Language Foundation's Award for Excellence. I am now a freshman at Johns Hopkins University and will continue my study of Italian. Your donation will help support other students like me nationwide. Thank you for your support of the Italian Language Foundation.
Ciao a tutti e tutte, mi chiamo Gina Gallo, and I am a proud member of the Italian Language Foundation, and it is indeed an honor to speak on behalf of this wonderful organization. The Italian Language Foundation offers support for both teachers and students of Italian with the goal of growing and maintaining programs across the United States and abroad. I teach in Bristol, Connecticut, and my students and I have had the privilege to participate in online professional development as well as the teacher recognition program. I can tell you firsthand that my students have participated in your blog post writings, and to see the excitement on their faces when they say their work in a public forum, it is second to none. It validates their learning. It makes their passions grow exponentially. It's not just about what we learn in the classroom, but it's how they are putting this language and their language studies into the real world. And those are the kind of things that the Italian Language Foundation supports. I'm so excited to be part of this organization that not only supports language study, but cultural competency and global citizenship. I thank you for all that you do and all that you continue to do to grow and support language programs. And I look forward to meeting with you all and working with you all in the future. Grazie mille e un bacione.
Thank you, Rachel and Gina, for your enthusiastic support. It is now my pleasure to introduce Tony Scaglione, the founder of DIREGGIO Advertising, and his daughter, Angelica. Tony is another dedicated member of the board of the Italian Language Foundation. When he was a young boy, Tony and his family emigrated from Argentina to the United States. They struggled and persevered like so many other immigrants. Tony is a gifted artist, and he applied his creativity to establish a very successful advertising agency on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Today, Tony's daughter Angelica continues the work of DIREGGIO Advertising with her sister Stephanie. We are delighted to present Tony and Angelica Scaglione.
My family emigrated to the United States from Argentina in 1967. So I think I was 12 years old. Yeah. My given name at birth was Antonio Giuseppe Scaglione. My father's job in Mar del Plata, which was probably 90% of the jobs available, were in the fishing industry. Mm-hmm. So he was a fisherman in a commercial boat that would go out for weeks at a time. Well, I saw my father working really hard. My grandfather, who was a big influence in my life, he was my idol, really. I love my grandfather. And I saw how hard they worked and how they suffered. It wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. And it sort of gave me the idea to focus on the arts. And I love the arts. Paintings and drawings and graphics. And that's really, I think I set my mind in that road very early on. I was not sent to art school in Argentina. We were in the process of getting ready to, we actually waited 7 years to be accepted to come to the United States. We went through the proper channels. We were sponsored by my uncles and aunts here in New York. And it took 7 years, and we were always in a state of waiting. And we immigrated to New York, and where all Italians go, well, what I thought it was all the Italians go to is Brooklyn. And that's when I started, continuing my passion for art. And in junior high school, there was a teacher, his name was Mr. Putterman, who took me under his wing, let's say, and he liked what I was doing. And he said, "Wouldn't you like to go to a specialized school?" And I said, "I have no idea." I really didn't have any idea about specialized schools. English was a big challenge for me. I didn't speak a word of it or understand a word of it, but he was nice enough to help me along. And he recommended me or sponsored me to go to the High School of Art and Design, which is a specialized school in the city. And I flourished. I had to, in the back of my mind, I always thought I open up my own business doing graphics. I really wanted to get my feet wet in certain agencies. And Bozell, Jacobs, Kenyon, and Eckhart was the big one that I worked in. And I stayed there for a couple of years. And I learned quite a bit about the practicality of art. And from there, I went on to find my own clients. I started with very small jobs. I had a friend who worked for the Bowery Savings Bank, and I went to him, and he was kind enough to start me up on doing some resizing of posters, and till he was confident enough to let me design some. At the time, the Bowery Savings Bank was head person, spokesman was Joe DiMaggio, and I got to meet him. We did photo shoots, and I resized his posters. The posters were very simple, really. It was his image with a message. My job was not 9 to 5. My job was 24 hours. I went from city, then another client was HSBC Bank, and then Fleet Bank, and then Wells Fargo Bank, and BlackBerry Funds, and BlackRock Funds. And my business exploded at that moment. I went from a single person for 2 years to 26 people in the city. And we were on 17th Street in Manhattan and Fifth Avenue. We were there for, I would say, a good 20 years until 9/11 hit. That's basically the story of my growth in the business. I was lucky to be successful. I was very lucky to make such great friends who as well as clients. I wanted to call the agency a name that would make me different in this world. And I said, what better way to do that than to name the town where your family was from, which is Reggio Calabria. What is most meaningful to me and my greatest achievement in life is obviously my children, my family. That comes first. Secondly, is to have succeeded against such odds, being an immigrant, challenge of language, challenge of culture, challenge of really acceptance. And to have succeeded in that is a big accomplishment. And I'm very, very proud of it. And I will tell anybody who is going through similar situation as I did, nothing can stop you. Believe in yourself, work hard, and you'll succeed. Our Italian heritage is extremely important to our family. I was actually extremely excited and honored to be part of the Italian Languages Foundation. I love their mission to carry on Italian being taught in school, and not only that, but with the language comes culture, and with culture comes life. And I was very, very proud and honored to be part of this, and I'm a board member with them, and I'm going to work very hard to be an outstanding member of the foundation.
It was definitely an evolution to work with my dad or come into his business. You know, when we were younger, we were always exposed to the business. Didn't really know too much detail, but we were always involved in some way. He always wanted us to come visit him at the office or help with a fulfillment job. So we were always somehow involved. But it wasn't until my later life, I was 20 or 21 years old when I started working at DIREGGIO. I did that for a while, and now, you know, I do a little bit of everything. I manage the company. I work hand in hand with the designers. Being a woman in business today is definitely it's a great thing. Surprisingly, most of the people I work with in marketing are women. So the relationships I have now are mostly with women and my clients. The amazing thing is we kind of all, lift each other up. We try to do as much as we can together and just kind of prove that, we're women in business and we can do amazing things. The pandemic definitely hit us pretty hard. Everything was at a standstill. Nobody wanted to put money towards anything. About 50% of our work was in the event space. And then when that stopped, the work went with it. We've been very, very fortunate to have amazing clients that have kind of kept us afloat throughout this. And everything now seems to be coming back to normal. So our day-to-day is looking how it was 2 years ago. So we've been pretty fortunate there. Yeah, the Scaglione family dynamic is definitely an interesting one. But Sunday family, Sundays are definitely for family. It's a must at our family to be at Sunday dinner. The Italian Language Foundation is an amazing corporation. I mean, what they're doing for students and teachers and everyone involved in education of students is truly amazing. It's part of what we believe that should be happening today and how we are advancing our students and helping them come into the workforce. And it's an amazing foundation to be a part of.
Thank you so much, Tony and Angelica. Wasn't that moving? It is moving to hear Tony's story of his immigrant experience and the triumph of creating a wonderful life in the United States. And now Angelica and Stephanie Scaglione continue the work of DIREGGIO Advertising. Bravo to all of them. We will now hear a few words from the chairman of the Italian Language Foundation, Louis Tallarini.
ILF supports Italian language education in the United States and worldwide. Your donation will help us meet our matching grants to support students of Italian language and offer free training sessions for teachers. Please visit ilf.org to donate.
Thank you, Louis. And now it is my pleasure to introduce a very special singer to you. Vanessa Racci is a professional singer who learned Italian American songs from her Barese grandfather. Vanessa has performed all over the country and receives rave reviews wherever she goes. Vanessa has studied the Italian American origins of jazz in New Orleans, and she was inspired to record a new album highlighting the contributions of Italian Americans to jazz. Vanessa is very close to completing that album, and our support would be appreciated. So after you've heard Vanessa perform, you'll want to know more about her and hopefully support her worthy project. I encourage you to visit her website, www.vanessaracci.com. Please enjoy now hearing Vanessa sing these wonderful songs that she recorded just for us.
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Vanessa Racci. I'm so excited to be here for the virtual Italian Language Foundation fundraiser. Italian language is so critical to keeping the culture alive in the US. I know it was for me because I took AP Italian in high school. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into my new album that I'm working on the history of Italian American influence on jazz from 1917 New Orleans through to modern day. This next song is one of my favorites. It is from my first album, Italiana Fresca, and was popularized by Louis Prima, who had a huge influence on Italian jazz. It's called Buonasera. Buonasera, signore, buonasera. It is time to say goodnight to Napoli. Though it's hard for us to whisper buonasera with that old moon above the Mediterranean Sea. In the morning, signore, we'll go walking where the mountains of the sun come into sight, and by that little jewelry shop we'll stop and linger second. Buonasera, signore, buonasera. Here's time to say goodnight to Napoli. Though it's hard for us to whisper buonasera without a mood but the Mediterranean Sea. In the morning, signore, we'll go walking where the mountains of the sun come inside. And by that little jewelry shop, we'll stop and linger, dreaming of a wedding ring for my finger. In the meantime, let me tell you that I love you. Buonasera, signore, kiss me goodnight. If you're in your living room or your bedroom at home, please swing dance with me. In the morning, signore, we'll go walking where the mountains of the sun come inside. And by that jewelry shop, we'll stop and linger where you're gonna buy a big old ring for my little finger. In the meantime, let me tell you that I love you. Buonasera, signore, kiss me goodnight. Buonasera, signore, kiss me goodnight. Buonasera, signore, kiss me goodnight. Kiss me goodnight. Kiss me goodnight. Kiss me goodnight.
Well, I don't know about you, but I found it difficult to remain stationary hearing that. That was wonderful. Thank you, Vanessa. And so I will join Vanessa in wishing you all a buonasera. Thank you for joining us. Please visit our website, www.italianlanguagefoundation.org, and please help us with your donations to support Italian American education from coast to coast. Grazie di cuore. Buonasera.